In this video, you will learn how to use Five's function previousAction with the selectAction function. This will enable you to return to the previous action or specify how many actions you want to be returned back. These functions enable you to navigate between actions using code rather than clicking on menu items. To fully demonstrate how these functions work together, we will be moving between the Action Navigation application and inside Five. Let's look at the Action Navigation app first. When first running the app, we will land on the Process A menu item. And you can see this is the only menu item in the application. When we click the To Process B button, we are navigated to Process B. Let's look at Process A in Five. Process A has two screen fields. The first field is simply a label with a caption of "This is Process A." The second screen field is called To Process B and has a display type of button. For our button to have functionality, we need to attach a function to the onClick event. The onClick event will execute the To Process B function. So let's have a look at this function. In the function, we are using the selectAction function and passing in the action ID for Process B. So when the button is clicked, you will be navigated to Process B. While we are in Five, let's have a look at the Process B record. It has three fields. The first field is simply just a label field again. The next field is called Back to Process A. And this is a button, so we know it has a function attached. This function is called To Process A. The next field is called To Process C and is also a button. The function attached here is called To Process C. So let's head to the functions view to see what these buttons do. We'll start with the To Process A. This function is exactly the same as the To Process B function that we just looked at, except this time Process A action ID is being passed into the selectAction function. If we take a look at To Process C function, you will see it is the same again, except this time we are passing in Process C action ID. We'll head back to the app now and look at how each of these actions are selected. We are still on Process B. If we click the Back to Process A button, it will take us back to Process A because in the function, Process A's action ID was passed into selectAction. We'll go back to Process B again by clicking the To Process B button, but this time click the To Process C button, which takes us to Process C, as Process C's action ID was passed into selectAction. We can see Process C has a label field and it has two buttons. Once again, we'll go back into Five to see what these buttons do. First, we need to look at the Process C record. We'll come to its screen fields. The Back One action field is a button and it has the Previous One function attached to the onClick event. The Back Two actions field is the same, it has a button, but it has Previous Two attached to the onClick event. So once again, let's head to the functions view and see what these functions do. We'll first look at the Previous One function. The Previous One function is using Five's previousAction function. Nothing is being passed into this function because by default, Five will pass in true and 1, and what this will do is take us back to the previously selected action. We'll go back into the app again. When we click the Back One action button, this will take us back to Process B, as this was a previously selected action. We'll click the To Process C button again so that we are back on Process C. And then we'll go back into 5 so we can have a look at the function that is attached to the Back to Actions button. This time we'll select the previous to record and have a look at its code. This function uses 5's previous action also. However, this time we are passing in true as the first parameter and 2 as the second parameter. 2 is an optional number parameter, and with this passed in, it will return to the specified number of previously selected records. So once again, we'll go back to the Action Navigation application. For our scenario here, once we click the Back to Actions button, it will take us back to process A, as this was the action selected 2 times back. You can learn more about the selectAction and previousAction functions in our online API documentation and in the How To Guides chapter.